We need friends. We're social creatures. So, the notion to me, the funniest notion to me is that we spent all these years trying to hack life in all of these ways. What I was talking about, some of the funny fads, like we're cold plunging, we're drinking smoothies, we're taking every class and all these other things. Why? We want to make our lives better. That's why we're doing it.
Yep.
We want to make our lives better. And yet, the original life hack is right there in front of us. Friendship is the original life hack. And the ROI on friendship is monumentally higher than all these other things. And here's the best part, Michael. It's so much easier than all those other things.
Welcome to the Funny in Failure podcast, a podcast that celebrates failure and shines the light on the emotional side of comedy, with yours truly, Michael Kahan.
Today's guest oozes charisma. He has many talents, but perhaps has one of the best takes on friendship you'll ever hear. Matt is a brilliant storyteller with an uplifting and empowering nature. I love how he dives into the importance of friendship and the powerful impact it can have on one's soul. It was thought-provoking and inspiring. Matt has a great sense of humor. There are plenty of laughs in this one. I hope you enjoyed this chat as much as I have. Okay, let's get into it. Matt Ritter is a former lawyer, multi-hyphenate, who's fast becoming the definitive voice of the modern friendship movement. Matt is the creator, writer, producer, and star of The Buddy System, a hilarious and heartfelt Audible original which has just launched. Check it out in the episode notes. The special blends personal storytelling with cutting-edge research on social fitness, challenging the idea that friendship is a luxury and making the case that it's actually the most important wellness tool we have. He's also co-host of the Man of the Year podcast, the #1 podcast on male friendship, and he's also the founder of Friendship Productions, a creative studio developing original content across film, TV, audio, and social, centered around the theme of connection in an age of isolation. Matt has also previously produced hit unscripted series like Duck Dynasty, Fat and Furious, Tasteless, and Chained to My Ex. He's also been featured on The Today Show, Netflix is a Joke, NPR, The New York Times, and plenty more. And he's also slated to give his first TED Talk in 2026. Friendship is the original life hack. So as you can imagine, we dive deep and we cover a lot, and we chat about leaving law, being the friendship guy, and inspiring others, Fat and Furious, Man of the Year awards and podcasts, The Buddy System, lying his way into Hollywood, plus plenty more.
My wife was talking to me about this, so we've been thinking about this for like the last few days. I know this was a few years ago. You bought a retirement village. How does one go about fixing a place like that up?
Okay, so let me back up to what exactly happened. Let me set the stage.
Okay.
I'm doing a show in Nashville. I'm at the Comedy Condo. If you've ever been on the road for stand-up, they put you in these real hovels, like lower than a motel, lowest day. You just never want to be sleeping or shower. Anything you touch has been touched by thousands of comedians. Anyway, so my wife's just out of the blue. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm sending a notary over to the Comedy Condo, and you're signing power of attorney over to me. I bought us a house." So I was like, "Okay, yeah, I trust you. Okay, sure." And then I get home, and to be clear, it was it was a senior living center.
Oh.
So there, I think it's some sort of tax scam because there's a lot of either senior living centers or fake nursery schools in this neighborhood. Okay, so like it'll say nursery school, right? It'll say like Koreatown Nursery School, and you'll never see a child walk out of there ever. Or like senior living center, and you'll never see anybody in them. So I think that they're just setting it up and like doing all this stuff, but I'm not actually sure if they're real. But I can tell you this definitely was a senior living center because it reeked of death.
Yeah.
But they say they'll give you a good deal on a place if somebody died, like the murder special. Well, there were probably like 40 or 50 people who had died in this house, but like pleasant deaths. Like I walked up, and you couldn't even walk. I kid you not, you couldn't walk up to the house. There was a wheelchair ramp up to the house.
Wow.
So it was a house that had been kind of, what they do is they take a house and then they turn it into these things like a school or a retirement community. So it wasn't like I bought a giant, if you were picturing like a giant
That's what I
senior living
was.
community. No,
Yeah.
no, I bought like a house that had been transformed into a senior living center with a bunch of wheelchair ramps and handicap things and all this stuff for seniors. And then we had to undo it. We took it out of, ADA compliance essentially.
Okay. I thought that you bought this place and there's like 40 people there and you're like, get out. This is now mine.
And no, we just had to kick all the ghosts out of the place.
You would have had to.
Yeah, but I kept the handlebars next to the toilets.
That's genius.
Amazing.
That's actually life transforming. It's like when people get those Japanese toilets, and then you can never go back. Like once you got a rail to help push yourself up, why go back?
It's unbelievable. I've been lobbying to get it in our new house. That was our old house.
That is not as funny. I wanted to know because I was thinking like this was a 10-story place, like all these different rooms, the carpet.
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be like stained carpets. The walls were going to be discolored.
There was all of that.
Okay.
There was all of that. I mean, there definitely was all of that. It's funny. We ended up selling it and flipping it into our dream house. But I mean, when I tell you like we had to just like tear everything out of the house. We tore all of the wheelchair accessibility, otherwise like all these ramps and just everything that was for seniors, like the giant, like even the bell, like the doorbell, like it had these doorbell amplifiers everywhere. So it was like so freaking loud when the door rang because every room had these like giant doorbell things in them for seniors.
That would have driven me nuts. Was that ultimately the reason you decided to then go to your later house?
The reason was both my father and her mother died in the same week.
Whoa.
And we were co-grieving and trying to make myself feel better on a plane ride home. So, of course, you just go and you Zillow places, right, as you do to make yourself feel good. And I saw our dream house, which is what we live in now. And I said to my wife, I better not show this to you because I don't think we can afford this. I don't think she's like, all right, let me look at it. And she looked at it and she's like, if you don't get us this house, I'm divorcing you. So I kid you not. So I called my friend who's our realtor, but mind you, we had just bought the senior living center a little over a year ago and had just kind of like finished getting rid of all the dead bodies, exhuming it and, just
with that waft, the ashes.
It takes about a year to get that smell gone.
Fumigate it.
And I called my friend who's our realtor and I was like, you remember that house we bought? And he's like, of course, the senior living center, blah, blah. I'm like, I need you to sell that this weekend. I got to buy this other house. I found my dream house. I got to buy it this weekend. He's like, ha, ha, ha. No, I'm like, seriously, man, I need you to sell my house tomorrow. And he's like, well, you can't just like sell a house. I'm like, no, well, if you don't want 2 giant commissions, then I guess somebody else will figure out how to do this.
Wow.
And so he came over and we took pictures, and the next day we sold our house, the senior living center.
Okay, so many questions. I won't dive deep too much into this house, but this blows my mind. How the hell do you sell a house in one day? Did you have a lot of contacts? Like, was it just luck of the draw?
It was 2021. There was just a boom going on. So it was a crazy boom.
Just before COVID?
Yeah, it was during COVID. A lot of people were moving to LA, I think, from the East Coast because like they needed to get out of their apartments and into places that had backyards or something.
Oh, that's correct. Okay, wow, that's.
But we also then got into a bidding war on this place that we ended up, getting. So I have a mortgage that could choke an elephant now, but at least I'm in a house that has a swimming pool, so we're happy.
That's beautiful. I saw like some of the photos of you in the pool doing like press for the podcast, which we'll get into.
Yeah, I wish I could do the podcast from the pool.
You could. It'd just be very difficult. No one can move. Yeah. Everyone has to be very.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. It's tricky business.
It is.
By the way, I love that I looked at your previous guests, and this show's called Funny and Failure. Your last guest was Phil Rosenthal?
Yeah.
So Phil's been on my pod.
Oh,
We'll
has
call
he?
this we'll call this my most recent failure, right? I sent him an email and a text, I think. Hey Phil, would love to come into the new restaurant for the friends and family round. No response.
That's beautiful. That is such a, yeah, no response.
Yeah, I guess no response is the response.
Agree. But you said you had him on your podcast, so this was obviously afterwards.
I had him on the pod. Well, he has the new restaurant is opening in the next couple weeks.
Max
Yeah,
and Helen.
I had him on the pod like a year ago.
Oh, nice. My God, I love him. What an
I love him.
upbeat.
By the way, I know you're talking to me right now from my office, which is across the street from Max and Helen's.
Oh, really? Surely. Okay, I'm jumping the gun here, but this is actually, I know you're a hustler and you send a lot of messages in the entertainment industry. Sometimes you can't just take the no response. I'm really diving into this, but I want to hear about Duck Dynasty because
Oh my God.
I love this story. Can you just give me a bit of context? Then I'm just going to spam you with questions because this is real about hustle in the industry, and maybe you can keep on messaging Phil
Well,
afterwards.
I fully lied to get my first job
In entertainment?
in Hollywood in entertainment. Yeah. Well, the very very long story short is I had a bit of an early burst of success. I sold my first TV show like a month after I got here, and that was called Chained to My Ex, about divorced couples who were stuck living together. Partnered up with a guy who had done Intervention, which is a huge show. Got that on the air, but then it got canceled after like 3 episodes. So I was riding high. I'm like, oh, this is so easy. Like sold a show, and sure enough, like haven't gotten another show of mine on the air since. But I did.
I know the pain.
Yeah, but I was a corporate lawyer, and so that plays in because I went to this reality show conference after that, and I met a bunch of people. And one of the guys I met was the creator of Duck Dynasty, and he was like, "We should get lunch, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Oh yeah, you went to law school, blah blah. Why don't you just be my lawyer?" And I was like, "Cool. I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I came out here to be creative and make TV and all this stuff." And he's like, "Oh, cool, cool. Do you want to be on Duck Dynasty? Do you want to like write on that or produce that or something?" I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah, I do. He's like, great. You'll talk to my guy on Monday. It was like very like, okay, yeah, you'll talk to my guy. You'll interview with him. We'll get you something, whatever. Interview with the guy, and he's like, you know how to use Avid, right? You know how to edit, right? You're a producer. Yeah, he's like, Scott said you're a producer. It's like he lied on my behalf. I'm like, yeah,
all the time.
And so for anybody who works in entertainment, like, it's laughable to lie about knowing how to edit, like on Avid. So I get in the first day. They're like, all right, start on Monday. So I fill out the paperwork. So I get in there, and there are these rooms, and it's like 2 editors per room. So I'm in there with this veteran editor, and he's just chomping away, man. Like, bah, 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 bah. And I'm sitting over there, and I'm like, opening up my bottle of water, taking a sip, like stretching, I'm like, and eventually he sees that I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, it's just unmistakable that I don't know how to edit.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
It's like that scene from Zoolander. Like, it's in the computer. like that's me. And so he just looks over at me and he's like, "What's the deal, man?" And I just came clean. I'm like, "Look, I kind of talked my way into the job. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, I watched a video this weekend on Avid. Like, I don't know what I'm doing." He's like, "Wow." He's like, that's crazy, man. He's like,
he was impressed.
He's like, you just lied your way into editing a TV show. Like, he's like, dude, it's not. He's like, wow. He's like, I'll tell you what. He's like, you want to learn? I'm like, yes. He's like, why don't you stay late with me a couple nights and I'll teach you some stuff, and
wow,
I'll tell you what class to take, and we'll get you going. And he literally stayed like probably a couple weeks. He did it after work and trained me and taught me.
Wow, there are not many people like that.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give him a shout out, Dan McAboy, wherever you are. That was totally incredible.
I wonder why. I guess he probably admired your hustle. You can get a job like that. Maybe you'll get when you get another TV show and hire him, or what was the
thing is, I am a fun guy to have around. It's a lonely biz.
Yeah.
like the edit bays are black holes. So, I think part of it was like, we were goofing around and like, we got, we had a good time together, it was probably
Yeah.
like, like whatever. It was, I mean, it was honestly like a godsend.
Oh, so that's okay. I've got so many questions on this. So was he just editing and you're like on your phone and chilling and making like jokes, or was he showing you also along the way? Because like you had to get work done. We just,
No, I ended up editing. I mean, I'm credited as
yeah.
editing and producing and some of the shows. It's hard to remember. I think I did some stuff.
Wow.
I did something there. No, then I ended up becoming proficient enough that they hired me
Mm.
on the next show, which was Fat and Furious. But
Yeah.
the thing is, it was not pure editing. There were editors. Okay, so let me back up. That
Okay.
was a lie. Everything I just said was a lie. there, there are pure editors, and then there are like predators, producer editors. So I also was supposed to be like stringing it out and creating a narrative storytelling to give to the editors. So there's this in between. There's the guys who are like funny and creative, but also have to have a basic understanding of the avid to put together what they called a rough cut of the episode of the show, like know where the joke should be, where they should land, the reactions, this and that. And then you'd give it to them. I didn't even know how to mold it into anything.
Isn't that crazy with reality TV shows? I don't watch them, but did you ever watch The Simpsons where Homer is accused of sexually assaulting the girl with the lolly on her ass? And then they show like that 60-minute segment and like, no, Mr. Simpson, no, don't attack me. And you see the clock go from like 12 to 3 to 7 to 6 because they're so badly editing. I feel like that's what you guys do. And then like maybe like the main characters like in a yellow shirt, then the next time you do the cutaway scene, they're in a green shirt.
Well, we did some bad editing on the next one. The next one was this car show called Fat and Furious. Not
That's the
Fast and
best
Furious, Fat and Furious.
That's the best
It
name
was
I've
these
ever heard.
it was these four like they weren't all morbidly obese, but at least half of them were morbidly obese, and the other two were obese.
Yep.
And the joke was like that they were car mechanics, and they made fun of each other, and they would like eat donuts over the engine bay and like slob out, but also fix up these muscle cars and race them. But the hilarious part was that only one of the guys was an actual car mechanic, and they cast him and his buddies because they got along so well. And so, we weren't all car guys, and so sometimes we would cut to the wrong thing. These guys don't even know the parts. It was like in Spies Like Us. Remember when he's looking for the spleen or whatever, and it's got to be redirected. So it would be like, and so I fixed the gasket, and he'd just be pointing to like a random pipe that was not the gasket in the car.
That is unbelievable. So all these cutaways, like look at this like amazing Ford, and it's like a spatula.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I watched.
Yeah,
that
it's like
show.
I got new brake pads, and you're like, "Hey, no, that's actually your wife's bra." Like, what do you do? Those are
Was that
nothing.
as fun as it sounds? Because that title is outrageous.
It was fun. Those guys were really funny, so that was really fun. But in general, like I called it reality show hell because the hours were so long and the pay was so low.
Oh, really?
It was like these 14-hour slogs, and it was tough,
When
but fun. Met a lot of good people.
That's great to hear. I wonder what casting's like. I know he got his mate, so they're like, they stand in like a line. You're like, not fat enough, too fat. Like,
Yeah,
how does
yeah.
that? How does
No,
that?
we were like, we need you to eat this entire pie, and let's see how you do.
You're like, let's get number B.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Well, I've done casting.
Ah.
For reality. So, because for the divorce show, we were like, we need crazy, crazy couples.
Okay. I've always wondered, they obviously put it on all as people as unhinged as you see, or is there an element I'm going to be famous, blah, 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 blah.
And there's both, but there's enough unhinged people in the natural habitat that you don't need to create them.
But like I see I'm in Australia and there's so many of these reality TV shows and they've been going on for like 10, 15 years. I'm like, we don't have the same number of people you guys have. How is the pool that big where you can have all of these people that then have careers afterwards? When you're in that line or not line, but when you're like interviewing them, are you just like, this person is insane? I love it. You're high. Like, how do you make that decision?
Well, it's like a combo. It's like, is this person insane, but also like, will they conflict in a nice way with others? Will they not play well with others?
So it's like the opposite. Like I know you did recruitment and you're a lawyer and we'll talk all about that stuff. Is it the exact opposite of when you're doing recruitment? The characteristics.
It's like, how well will they mesh? Yeah, how well will they mesh in this environment? How poorly will they mesh?
And back to Duck Dynasty. I think I really like this because you were hired as the lawyer, and then you had the someone say the chutzpah to say, look, I don't want to do law. Yes, I'm the world's
Yeah.
best editor and I've never edited in my life. But you actually said, I want to do this. A lot of people are too scared to ask for what they wanted. You did it.
I mean, the thing is that like, your show is about failure, how to overcome it, or whatever. How do you feel about it? It's like nobody has screwed up worse than me. I left the most lucrative. You look it up. Look it up. Kirkland and Ellis. That's the number one law firm in the world. The average partner salary is over $9 million now. The average. Now, I'm not saying I'm great, but I could have been average. Could have been average. Could have been. I could have been just a cut below average.
Yeah.
Give me 6. And I walked away from that to do open mics, in the back of Chinese restaurants. So, it's like if you're afraid of leaving something, just know like there's always somebody who's, made more colossal mistakes than you, and it's fine. It's all good.
Okay, we'll get into that. I think do you actually view it as a failure? Because I know like the whole like backstory of how this.
No, I mean, I say that as a joke. I mean, occasionally when I look at that number, I'm burning
You
with
have it
rage.
stuck in the mirror and just like that could have been. Yeah.
No, I couldn't. I mean, I was sleeping under the desk, like it couldn't have been me. When I exited the law, it was like, they called me in. I had this big file. Like it was like a whole formal, like as if I didn't know where this was going. They were like, "Hey, Matt, do you know how many hours you billed this year?" And I was like, was I even supposed to keep track of that? Like, I didn't even know that I was supposed to be keeping track. Like 400, you're supposed to do like 2,400.
But that doesn't mean you didn't necessarily work. I used to be an accountant and now I'm doing this screenwriting and podcast. But the billing of the hours is the most, I won't bore everyone, is like the worst thing ever. And sometimes people just lazy and can't put it on because you're just doing the work or whatever.
No, I didn't do the work. But then they were like, they knew because I was already doing stand up and some of them were coming to my shows and they're like, so you want to do this creative thing? Like, do you want to just go do that? And I was like, yeah. They're like, all right, why don't we just give you a severance and you just go do that?
Oh,
just
wow.
Go. So they gave me 4.5 months severance, which was a colossal amount of money.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, do you want me to work for the next 4.5 months? And they're like, no, don't touch anything. Don't call anybody. Just leave. Don't touch nothing.
You never existed.
Like, yeah, like don't email anybody. We're just gonna just don't fuck anything else up. And it was like, yeah, this is amazing. You gave me 4.5 months severance. Like I literally was just gonna steal a couple of laptops and be gone. And that was it. They could have had me for like $6,000.
Oh, you must have been such a proficient, effective worker where they're like, just get the hell out of here. Like, we don't want anything to do with you. We'll give you 6 months.
Do not touch.
What was that?
Touch anything.
What was that moment like? Because you want to leave. You're doing open mics. First of all, balancing those work hours and doing stand up is extremely difficult and hard. It shows a lot of passion. But what was that moment like? It's like when, like, let's say a girlfriend breaks up with you. And she's like, I want to break up with you. And you're like, fair enough. It's like, what do you mean, fair enough? You should show. Were you like, what do you mean you're breaking up with me?
There was a lot of relief, right? It was like, I don't know, we're all afraid of things in life. And, I got to the point where it's like I had a hard time getting dressed in the morning or looking at myself in the mirror. And it's like somebody just finally cut the cord and let me be me.
Yeah.
Right. It's like something that it's like, oh, wow, I could have done that. And I needed these people to do it.
It's really interesting. I haven't spoken about this for a while, but I used to be an accountant. I only did it for just under a year. And I knew within the first internship that it was too much. And like what you see is what you get. Always had strong mental health, always been a happy guy. And when I was at this accounting firm, they were actually lovely. I could not, I call it depression of the soul. I was slow to get to work. I was like physically in pain going to work. It was just, I just couldn't do it. And it was like so weird because outside of work, I was normal, but it was just like, to me, I wasn't living my purpose or whatever you want to call it. And it was just like this struggle. And then once I left, my entire well-being in life is completely changed. So it sounds like you had something like that in a sense as well.
Yeah. And I think you're saying something profound in that we all are going to have struggles at work. It's not supposed to always be fun. Even the entertainment, we talk endlessly about how the entertainment biz is like this creative field. It's still work. You got to be a grown up and put your big boy pants on, but you're supposed to be able to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, like at a baseline, you're supposed to be able to get up in the morning to go to work. And when you can't get up in the morning, that is the universe telling you, figure your shit out.
I agree. But I'm sure like with you, like with me, I was like, what is going on? Because I couldn't explain this because I'm like doing so well outside. To you, did you have that awareness or did it come from once the cord had been broken? You're like, oh. Like,
No, I always, I'm always like, I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. Like I'm always having fun. Even with Big Law, like I wasn't miserable because I was like the guy who would take the corporate tab and take everybody out to dinners and drinks. Like the summer program, they let you use the budget. I remember like I extended that so hard. It would be like, oh, we have a summer outing program. We take you to baseball games. We take you to the theater, this and that. And I would be the guy that take them out afterwards.
Yep.
The after party. And then I would come back and you'd submit the bill. And it's like, oh, $400. Okay, yeah, we'll cover it. You were with 5 summer associates. Okay, $600. I'm not, you're kind of pushing it. Okay, and then you took them to this nightclub, 10 June, in the meatpacking district, and you spent $3,000 on bottles? No, you pay for that one.
Oh, that would have been brutal.
Oh, that was brutal.
Oh, I'm glad you got that severance. Had to pay.
Yeah.
Going back to doing open mics while you're working. I know you said you weren't like doing as much work, but you're still working crazy
No,
hours.
I was. They were now listen. There was a time actually where I was my first couple of years where I was billing like 2,800 hours up to 3 a.m. Actually, my first firm wouldn't let me go home 72 hours before a deal closed. They would get these hotel rooms across the street, and you could take an hour nap, and we would rotate the hour naps. And I remember one guy, he was a senior associate, and he had migraines, and so he barricaded himself in the hotel room when his time was up. And at the time I was mad at him, because you're just in that mindset of like, who screwed this guy? Who does he think he is? He took 2 hours of a nap. What the hell? And they just fired him. They just fired. This was a different firm. They just fired him. They just clipped him.
Isn't that, first of all, how is that legal that they can like own you for 72?
It's not. This was the like mid-aughts, different time. I just don't think any of that stuff goes on anymore. Like there was a guy who threw a stack of 4 credit agreements at me because I had a typo in one of them. He literally threw 400 pieces of paper. Maybe that doesn't sound like much, but I would rather be punched in the face, to be honest.
It's demeaning as well.
Demeaning.
One of my friends, he was a lawyer at one of our biggest law firms, and they got like human rights complaints because they were overworking everyone. And he would play me voice notes at 3 a.m. and be like, hey, I'm just going to call him Billy. Hey, Billy, we've just called you a couple of times, wondering if you can come into the office. A couple of your colleagues have come in and they came in at 2 and it's 3 a.m. And he'd show me like 10 of these, even like Sunday mornings. Hey, I'm glad that you got out. But what I find really interesting after that, doing all the open mics, very tough hours as well. And open mics are late and then you have to come back to work. Just mentally, that would be hard. You then develop, I forgot what it was called, the lawyer comedy shows. How did that come?
Comedians at Law, the Comedians at Law. So I doing the open mics, I met a couple of other guys that had also were lawyers, comics, and we were like, we should do something with this. And so 6 of us at the time started this group called Comedians at Law. We started booking all of these law schools and bar associations. Cool. I probably did and we started headlining clubs all over the country. It was actually it got really fun. It was like, it went from grinding and like being on the lower rungs of comedy to kind of accelerating our growth, as comedians to get more stage time, bigger stages, getting paid to do comedy, suddenly we're on tour. I'm headlining all these clubs because I would just mass email every lawyer in the city. And be like, hey, we're doing this lawyer comedy show. Mass emailed every lawyer in every city for like a 5-year stretch.
That's so, because I think were you in New York, you moved to LA, you don't have a job, you just kind of go in a limb. And then obviously, you've got that pay and then it goes away. So you're looking at ways to hustle. How quickly into the open mic journey did that come about? Had you been
Pretty quickly. I mean, I'm a hustler, and I feel like, they say necessity is the mother of invention. Nothing will make you hustle more than just sleeping on a floor. Like I went
Yeah.
from living in a penthouse apartment, working at Kirkland, to living in the back of my friend's room. My wife likes to say when she met me, it looked like I lived inside of a cockfighting ring.
That's a good wife that she saw you at your lowest and stuck with you.
That is low. I mean, I didn't have a bed. It was just a mattress on the floor, and it was like this. Somebody had given me, it was a secondhand duvet or something with like feathers pouring out of it, and just
Oh,
like random stains all over the floor. I mean, it was an apt description, a cockfighting ring. That's what it looked like when she met, and she married me. So
well, that's on
sucker,
her. Was there like blood
yeah, sucker.
stains?
There were. It was sucker.
How quickly we were like, I really like you. Maybe we should move in, but your place,
Oh,
definitely.
this is a great story. I don't think I've told this one on any shows for sure, but that just reminded me. I was on a tour in 2012, and I just had this brilliant move to be like, "Hey, babe, so I'm actually going on tour, and can I just leave my stuff at your place?" And
Oh,
then I
that's
came
great.
back, and the guy who I had been living with moved to another place, and she's like, "Oh, what happened to?" I'm like, "Oh, I just live here now."
Oh, what a beautiful. That's what my wife did.
Yeah,
She just never left. And, and then
yeah. It's a
we just
good,
had,
just the back door moving,
I was both you and my wife are very smart.
sly move.
And then, so that's really because, open mics can normally take up to 5 years before you can transition to earning money. Was it very exciting when I know you messaged so many people, which is awesome. Was that really exciting to see yourself headline and tour with all these people that I assume you get along with? You're traveling the country, all of that
Yeah,
stuff.
it was really fun. It was vindicating. It was also cool. I gotta say, it was cool to see us on the marquees of these places. I took all these pictures everywhere in the country, and it would be like, "Oh, Mark Maron," and then the comedians at law, and you'd see our picture like
Oh,
the
cool.
weekends. That to me, that was the best part. I was like, "Oh, you're really doing this thing."
Yeah.
And I think there's this misconception about making it like it never ends. You just keep doing, right? And so either you like what you're doing or you don't. Because I don't, it's like, oh, that could have been considered making it. But it's like there's always whatever the thing you are doing. It's just there's always the next thing, or there's always ups, there's always downs. So you have to just enjoy whatever you're doing, and that's it. To me, it's like I don't know. I've been in this town long enough where it's like I've seen the highs, I've seen the lows. You just have to enjoy the process of it. Otherwise, or you're gonna eat yourself alive, like thinking about what could have been or regret or all that stuff.
I agree, but so many people, and I'm guilty of this at times, we look to the end result. Oh, I want to be a headliner at the Comedy Cellar or whatever. I want to be doing all this. I want to have 10 Netflix specials. And, without enjoying the journey, then that's going to be brutal because this is as we said, a very hard industry. Especially just from the writing side. Maybe you got a show, you got Change My Ex. Do you think your dreams are coming alive? And it was an amazing opportunity. Then 3 episodes later, what the hell am I doing with my life? What's going to happen? I'm sure there's moments of panic and being able to
Yeah.
deal with that. How do you do it?
Look, I think success is living the life you want, and smart people figure out what they want out of life and kind of build around that. And if you just want the hit TV show, like it's not in your control.
Mm.
Right. So, I mean, I think, look, you can have, I want to have, we all want to have these things. If you're in this biz, you want to have these things, but you need to build other things around you. You need family and friends at your core. You need to feel validated by your own person. Like you're just who you are as a person. You need to be like, I want external validation as much as anybody. Right. But now that I have a family and 2 kids and a great friend circle, that most days that's enough for me. I'm not going to say all the time, but
Yeah.
most days that's enough. Most days I wake up feeling that's enough, and then, like some rejection happens and I get down about it. But I have, I think my greatest skill is that I've built an immunity to rejection. If
Oh,
if I had to give up one tip, anybody who's like, hey, what can I'm moving to Hollywood, I want to do this creative thing, I'd say build up your immunity to rejection.
And did that come from just general life? I'm sure open mics, that would have been hard. Natural.
My friends would probably tell you it came from when I was single. I was one of those, they like to say I was a hard hat, lunch pail guy. I would just talk to everybody and anybody. And so, like, it didn't bother, they would always be like, throw Matt out there to talk to that group of girls. I was that guy,
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, that, and then the career stuff. It's like, but in Hollywood, auditions, like everything I've done in life, I've just kind of always let it slide off of me. But I think once you've built up that immunity to rejection, that fear doesn't take over when you're trying things, and that, kind of self-censoring doesn't take over. Like, oh, I shouldn't do this because of this.
And I've got a brilliant example on this, how you almost got the rights to GameStop. And this is a great example for rejection, how you dealt with it. Can you give us a bit of a snapshot?
I love how you're just listing my failures. This is great.
No, I see these as successes.
I didn't know you had a running inventory of all of my flops, all of my greatest flops. But look, again, what I like to do is I like to look at myself from 10 years ago and go, oh man, he would have been so happy with this thing that you consider a failure.
Yeah.
Like all these, it's like perspective, man. So yeah, GameStop. So I'm the kind of person, I'm a writer, but I'm also a producer, and I have the lawyer hat in the business sense. So I kind of look for under the radar stories that are kind of esoteric that I think I can relate to the masses. That's how I got a script onto the blacklist that was about this Barbie versus Bratz lawsuit. And then with the GameStop thing, I'd been tracking that, and I got the rights to this guy, and I flew all the way to Mexico to close a deal with him, and then he's like, "Oh, sorry, I signed a $250,000 deal with MGM."
Wow. But also within that, I know you were like contacting them. You're actually a human in the process. You were like, "Hey, I'd love to get to know you, so we can work together. We'll figure it out together." You were
always. That's always how I operate, because I do feel, most especially if you're not in the biz and somebody calls you from Hollywood, sign this document. Picture how that reads on the other end, like, don't be that, so I'm always just like, look, I'm a writer. I'm excited about this, but I actually understand it. I've been following the story. I always like to just ask people to tell me their story first before I'm like, hey, I want to do this deal, or I want to do this. I'm like, hey, I just think this is interesting. That's usually my baseline where I start from. I just go, hey man, or I just want to hear your story. Can we just talk about this? Can I just have some time and you just tell me?
I love that approach. I got offered a TV developmental deal, and I was going to move to LA. I've spoken about this a bit, but I haven't spoken about this bit. And they're like, they knew that I just written a script. I won an award. Lovely. And they're like, which director do you have attached? Who's the actor? Like, I don't know anyone. And they were trying to like put me down, and I didn't want to. There were a few things. They then gave me this like offer sheet where they're like, put in the numbers that you want here. And I didn't know what these terms were. I didn't know what you could. They were playing like games. And I was like, can we just talk about the script and the vision and see we're on the same page? No, this relies on trust. Sign later. Sign now, and we'll talk about this later. And like everything is the exact opposite to how you respond. So when I heard you talk, I'm like, wow, I wish I had that type of response, because a lot of people are like, sign, we don't care, let's make a lot of money. And there's no human and creative element in it as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's worked out well for me, just being honest.
Yeah, but that's rare.
I know that people think you have to be all these things, and maybe on some level that works for people, but for me, it just works to be actually genuinely interested in things, and that's where I come from. Like, my friend actually paid me a really nice compliment the other day. I had this big party for our book launch, and he said, I don't know how, but we had 100 people there, but it seems like everybody I talked to said they actually had a conversation with you. And he said, I did the math. That's not even possible in the 2 hours that we were there. He's like, how do you make a 4-minute conversation with somebody feel like they hung out with you? And that's not even like something that I set out to do, but when I'm talking to you, I'm listening to you. And I think that that's just so rare in and of itself. Most people are just waiting to talk.
I agree. It's such a life skill as well. Meeting someone, seeing someone, you build a connection. We'll talk about friendship in a second. And also, I mean, in my limited experience in entertainment, in all industries, you can have like that sleazy car salesman, whatever, and they don't actually care. That's how you build a connection. And let's say you did get GameStop. You would have understood the story, you would have understood the person, would have been done in a different way. Perhaps it could have been better. Who knows? But I love that connection. I will only work with people if it's in that type of capacity.
I love this pod, by the way, because you've now made me. I have so many other funny failures. Like I don't like. Should I just list some crazy
Yeah, go.
disasters in my
Yeah.
life? Okay, so I'm a big fad follower. Like I can't help it. It's kind of a running
A
joke in my
what?
friend group.
A what follower?
Fad, FAD, fads.
Yeah.
Like a
Oh,
fad,
like
like a
general fads.
passing
Yeah,
fad.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, anything. If they're like I've done every type of gym thing, whatever the new craze is, I'm on it. Peloton, Soul Cycle, boxing, kickboxing, silent meditation, cold plunging,
Yeah.
sauna, you name it. I've done it. Lemon juice, smooth, I've done 3-day cleanses. I haven't eaten for a month,
Whoa. A whole
intermittent
month.
fasting. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
whatever it is, I'll try it.
Yeah.
But nothing worse than I got deep into the crypto boom and
Yeah.
then subsequent bust. I say conservatively, I lost 300 grand. We didn't have
Whoa.
kids at the time.
Yeah.
So it was only like borderline divorce. And now we have a running joke. My office mate and I, because he also was in crypto and lost a lot. But I have this fanny pack, and he loves fanny packs. And so I have this fanny pack, and it's got this like little digital bird on it, and we call it the most expensive fanny pack in the world because that was the swag they gave me for losing 90 grand.
Oh. And who
It's
was
a
that?
$90,000 fanny pack.
That's a great fanny pack. Is it like one of those like shitty $3 ones, or is it like a big like Gucci
Yes.
and
No. It's a
so do
$3.
you do you
It's a
have that
$90,000, 90,003.
do you have it like framed so when you wake up and you like look on the roof it's like connected to a string just as a reminder like to not do certain fads, or is it a badge of honor
I
now?
have I should, but I have a framed 50-cent voucher that I found in my dad's jeans when he died in a casino, World's Resorts in Queens. He was a gambler. I've got gambling in my blood. That is my reminder. That one I have in my office. It's a framed
Ah,
50-cent voucher. It's a reminder that you never want to be in that situation where
wow.
you where you die and there's a 50-cent voucher in your pocket.
That's a nice reminder to, what's the word? Like to change the cycle as well. I'm glad that your wife
Yeah.
didn't divorce you again. That seems to be a running.
But I'm not allowed. Listen, I'm not allowed to dabble in crypto anymore. Let's just put it that way.
I get it. And we've spoken about friendship a lot. You mentioned your book launch, which is amazing. Just before we get into that, the friendship side, when you moved to LA, I think you knew someone, maybe it was your co-host, your
Yeah,
podcast co-host.
yeah.
How important was friendship? I know that's like a very generic thing, but how important was friendship once you left law to pursue this career? Because it would mentally be very hard when you're not earning money. Maybe there's no signs of necessarily improvement at the start, or what the hell am I doing? What mistakes? How crucial is that for you?
Yeah, LA can be a very lonely town, especially when you're not, you don't have a job, you're not on a show, you're not working, you don't really know that many people. Extremely important. My co-host was extremely helpful. Immediately brought me into his circle,
Oh, nice.
and we can get into the friendship stuff later. But I mean, people are afraid to lean harder into friends of friends. You have to run so hard into that when you move to a new city.
Yeah.
You have to full speed, full throttle, just embrace and glom. And like my friend now says, usurp. You have to make these people your friends. You have to just act. I wish they just act like you're already friends. And I actually had a friend who let me live on his floor. And that was, I jokingly said he had a roommate at the time. I was like, why don't you just get rid of them so I can live there? And he did.
oh, you have the power. You could
I
have
mean,
said, why don't
it
you
was
give
a
me?
cockfight. It was a cockfighting ring, so it wasn't like that nice of digs.
Well, you could have said, maybe you can give me your bed as well and see if he would.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah, look, it was a first apartment, right? Like
yeah,
first LA apartments, everybody's got horror stories.
agreed. And then, was this the same friend, Aaron, that you do the podcast with
Yeah,
subsequently?
yeah. I mean, we go back almost 40 years. So, one of my best friends, we've got the same group of friends from second grade.
Oh, wow.
The long short story short about that is we built the trophy to our friendship. It's called the Man of the Year Trophy. Every year we go to this famous steakhouse, Peter Luger's, and we vote on who had the best year in life. And you get your name engraved on it, like the Stanley Cup. And that has been going for 22 years.
Wow.
And, our friendship isn't dependent on that, but it was something that helped anchor it. I believe that tradition and ritual are a great way to anchor friendship and sustain them for years, if not decades. Truth be told, I know where I'm going to be 50 years from now. If we're alive, we're going to be at that dinner, and most people don't. So in a way, it took the guesswork out of friendship, and we've got obviously the group chat, the WhatsApp that keeps it going and keeps it firing throughout the year. So it's not just about that. But it's something that I'm extremely proud of, and always look forward to.
I think it's such a great idea. It's so brilliant because especially as we get older, people have kids, people have different jobs and whatever, family life, all of that stuff. It can become so, as you know better than anyone, it'd be so easy to not maintain friendships. And you actually talk about you're on a mission to make friendship the next wellness revolution. And I've never heard anyone talk about friendship, in the same capacity as mental health, physical health, all of that stuff. How did you kind of come to that conclusion and then want to, talk about it?
It's because I'm a genius and I'm a thought leader.
You are.
Because I invented it.
Yeah.
No, truth be told, it's just something that I stumbled into. I had this notion that people were isolated post-COVID and somehow they were not prioritizing friendship.
Yep.
And I had this notion that not prioritizing friendship was affecting them negatively in all these other ways. And we had been talking about this on the pod, but suddenly, I have this theory about success. Sometimes the world needs to come to you a little. Some people call that luck. I think it's a little different from luck. Luck is like, oh, you got plucked out for an opportunity. The world has to come to you as a bigger thing. It's bigger than luck. It's like you're a little too early, but you stay with your convictions, and eventually people come around.
Yeah.
Hopefully, but while you're still alive, hopefully you're not one of those artists that's, oh, he was so great, only remembered posthumously. But so I just had this understanding that people were not prioritizing friendship and they were making a big mistake. And then suddenly all these studies started coming out, and that's when people start listening, right? They need that, data. They need the data, right? Even though innately that it's true, when you're home alone and you had all these friends and your life was so fulfilling and so rich, and then suddenly you're 40 and you're home alone on a Saturday, and it's like, what's missing? Oh, what's missing is friendship.
Yeah.
Or it's like, you're working and your friends are working and you don't even break up your day with a coffee or a lunch, or you don't even go for a 5-minute walk with your friends. And you're like, what's missing? It's like friendship. That's what's missing. And you're like, why am I angry? Or what? It's like, because you don't have anybody to vent to. You don't have anybody else in your life to talk to about what's going on, or you don't even have anybody to share your wins with. Something good happened, you don't have anybody to call. Something bad happened, you don't have anybody to call. We need friends. We're social creatures. So, the notion to me, the funniest notion to me is that we spent all of these years trying to hack life in all of these ways. What I was talking about, some of the funny fads, like, we're cold plunging. We're drinking smoothies. We're taking every class and all these other things. Why? We want to make our lives better. That's why we're doing it.
Yep.
We want to make our lives better. And yet the original life hack is right there in front of us. Friendship is the original life hack. And the ROI on friendship is monumentally higher than all these other things. And here's the best part, Michael. It's so much easier than all those other things. It's not even hard to do.
I agree. We've just recently incorporated, there's like 10 of us doing dinners every 3 weeks because we see occasionally each other on Saturdays. And it is so, like, my life's so much better. Also just something to break the week, to see different people. And there's also kind of this lie as well. And I know not everyone will have a partner, but we're kind of like told, like, once you got a partner, and my partner's amazing, but your partner can't wear all hats for you. You need different people in your life. You can't expect, to get everything from the one person, regardless if it's a partner or not.
I did this viral. Instagram video. I did a series of them, and it was called "Your Wife Can't Be Your Only Friend."
Yeah.
And it went so viral, and so many people got so angry.
What?
And I said, this is you projecting.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't say your. And here's what's funny. I didn't say your wife can't be your only friend, but that is how a lot of these people read. I didn't say your wife isn't your best friend. I said your wife can't be your only friend.
Yeah.
But they read it as like, oh, my wife's my best friend. What's wrong with that? I'm like, that's not what I said.
Yep.
I just said your wife can't be your only friend.
Yep.
But they heard it as, oh, my wife's my best friend, and that's a problem. It's like, no, because you realize that I'm right. And the truth is burning a hole in your head right now by watching this 15-second, it was a 15-second video from a stranger you've never met that's driving you nuts because I said your wife can't be your only friend.
It's amazing how if you get triggered by, and I occasionally the same, if one is to get triggered by a 15-second video, that is entirely oneself. That is not the video. You could say the most horrible things. I'm just going to get out of it. I'm not going to care. But that triggered response means you gotta act on it, and it doesn't need to.
So the video was just me and my wife, and it was me waking up and rolling over and going, I got a great business idea, babe. And she goes, no. And then I'm like, babe, do you want to hear the funniest dirty joke ever? She's like, no. And I'm like, you want to go eat hot wings till one of us cries? And she goes, no. And then it just said, your wife can't be your only friend.
That's so,
and like
brilliant.
People went nuts. And then I did a post follow-up video that my wife came into, and I was like, guys, I think you misunderstood. I'm like, what I'm saying is sometimes you need to watch a 6-hour Jean-Claude Van Damme marathon.
And also on that, your wife will probably be happy for you to get out the house. You're happier, all of that stuff as well.
I mean, that's the obvious part, right? That's the part where these people who are like, my wife's my best friend and we're great. I'm like, did you ask her? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Okay,
you might want to vet that with the big boss, because I don't think that's right.
That's so good. So going back to Man of the Year, every year you give a trophy to the person who's had the best year. And I know as you get older, I had a few points, but I think maybe Aaron said, is it Aaron? Aaron. Yeah. And I think there was a claim that someone got engaged 2 weeks before the dinner just so they would win the award. Yeah. What's some of the most outrageous things people have done to get this big trophy?
Well, I mean, obviously getting married is the most that guy's on his second marriage. So it didn't take. That one didn't.
It's the first one counts.
I definitely snuck in, I think a couple of people have snuck pregnancies in that year, but it didn't, I didn't even win either time that I had a kid. But that was my own fault, because 10 years ago when I had sold my first TV show, my other friend had just had his first kid. And I said famously, now infamously, anybody can have a kid. So now anytime that I had a kid, which was 2 different years, and I tried to win, and I was like, I've had this great year. Look at this beautiful boy. They're like, I'm pretty sure you said anyone can have a kid. So F you. No.
Honestly, fair enough. And getting your own TV show, that's my dream. I get it. I'm on your team. I think 100%. And
well, we divide up the group into like hard hats and dreamers, like, because it's different bar. Like if you have a job and you have a stable job and you're not like taking huge swings, it's hard to kind of compare and contrast those things in terms of what makes like the best year. So we gave it to a guy who was a doctor for the Jets team doctor last year, and he's just always steady Eddie. There isn't like one particular thing that he did, but he's just like a great person and just crushing it in life.
I know that you said there were 2 hats. Is there like a 20-page document where you have to like tally different points and be like, how?
Well, no, but we do get up and go around and kind of do our year recap, and then you nominate. You can't nominate yourself. Other people nominate you. We have a nomination round.
Has everyone got it, or is there one schmuck that hasn't won it, and each year is like, I will get it?
Yeah, everybody's had it at least once, but now some people have had it 3 times, and some people have only had it once. So there's a little bit of like
voter fatigue. Like, do you follow the NBA? Like with
like Jokic? Yeah, it is like Jokic. Like, there's a little bit of like, we got to give it to this guy.
He's like, what did he do? He just world hunger. He solved it. We'll find.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy.
Exactly.
There you go.
No, I was gonna say, but like, there is something cool about just to me just hearing about people's years that we don't even do.
Great.
Just that alone makes it worth the price of admission. Just getting to hear the encapsulation of the ups and downs, and like this year, two of our friends lost parents, and it's like that's brutal too. But that's the stuff you want to hear people talk about
Yeah.
in friendship.
Agreed. And it's also very cathartic. It's bonding. And also, the person
Yeah,
that's lost a parent is important. You build a
right.
deep
Like I remember
friendship.
crying I remember crying at that table talking about my year when my dad died.
And you would have felt much, how do I phrase it? You would have felt much better for it having that support as well.
Totally. And also, we were like, but they were like, we're not going to give it to you because your dad died.
That is great friendship. That is,
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, brilliant.
You're not just cry all you want.
Are you like what do they call it? Crocodile tears? And you're like,
Crocodile
fine.
tears. No, they were real tears, but they was not getting me the win that year.
Oh, wow. And through that, did the idea of doing a friendship podcast, was that how it was formed? What gave you the idea?
Yeah, it was kind of funny. My friend Aaron and I, we were just kind of batting around ideas for a pod, and it's just a trophy sitting there, the one thing that we know about, just like sitting right there. We're like, oh yeah, that's one thing we know. Well, so we used to get all this organic traffic from strangers following along before the trophy ceremony going, hey, who's going to win this year?
Oh, well.
Like just random people. And the second thing we would get a lot is a lot of people go, man, I wish I did that with my group of friends. I really wish I had done that. And I'd be like, you can start now and you can have a trophy that's going on for 20 years. It's never too late. And so that was sort of the genesis of the idea of like, oh, this is one thing we know about. And then, like I said, the world came to us and it just kind of took off. And then, from there, it was at Sundance a couple of years ago. And an exec at Audible was like, hey, I listened to the pod. Are you doing anything with it? I'm like, I don't know. What do you mean doing anything with it? He's like, you should do an Audible. By the way, we don't call it a book. We call it an Audible original.
Is that like the rule? Like when you sign, you have to say it's this?
That is the rule.
It's the law.
It's the law. I mean, that is the rule and the law. It's not a book. It's elevated above. Books are kind of shit.
Yeah,
Audible
no one reads them
original
anymore. Yeah, I agree.
Audible original. So yeah, it's been, it's just been a great organic journey to being now a friendship expert.
Isn't that like when you were just probably bonding with Aaron, I assume you become a better friend. You've learned a lot about the concept of friendship. You've inspired so many people, which is amazing, but you've inspired so many people through having conversation with your
I have to say, because I've been doing a lot of creative stuff for a long, long time. Nothing is more rewarding than just these daily emails that I get from people. A lot of them now I have a newsletter too called The Friendship Habit that I send out once a week with just little tips. And I just have all of these people sharing their friendship wins with me.
Cool.
And it's amazing. It's like, oh, I texted my friend from 20 years ago, found out they're sick and we're reconnecting. And I'm like, so glad I did it. Or just like stuff like that all the time. It's like, oh, my friend and I started a new ritual. We're going to the movies once a month. Like all these things that people are now doing. I'm not saying I, caused them to do it, but I'm kind of like their friendship accountability buddy.
That's so great. And how can people get into the newsletter and how can they email you their wins if you
so I actually make you do something fun. If you want to read my newsletter, I make you do a 7-day challenge when you join.
Yeah.
So I have this theory that, you could read a newsletter and it's kind of like, okay, it's fine, but I'm not connected to this person and I'm not like that deeply attached to it. But so I created this week-long challenge. So when you sign up, it's on my website, thefriendshipguy.com// 7-day challenge.
Yep.
You can just like Google,
It'll be in the
friendship
episode
guy.
notes.
You can see the friendship guy, the newsletter is on there. But when you sign up, they immediately throw you into the 7-day challenge. And day one, it says like why you need to do this thing. And it's just like text a friend. And then the next day, it's like it gives you another action. So after a week, you're already a better friend than you were a week earlier.
Yeah, and in such a short amount of time. And I saw that the 30-day one's coming soon. Can you?
Yeah. That is, I think, I'm very curious. I've been, it's like you're still scared to try new things always. And so I think that's the funny advice I could give is you never stop being scared
Yeah.
of trying new creative things. That's never going to go away. I don't care who you are. When you try something new and you put it out in the world, fear is very normal. So I had this fear, oh, nobody's going to want to do it. It's too much to ask of people. But that's how I felt about this 7-day challenge initially, because I got feedback from some people. I'm like, I'm thinking about doing this thing where I make people who join my newsletter do something for 7 days. And a lot of people are like, that's kind of a lot to ask people. Like, they don't know you. And I'm like, exactly. But if they really are committed to improving their friendships, then this is the way they're going to do it. I'm like, this is my strong belief that if I get them into this habit, creating this new habit, it only takes a couple days to create new habits. If they get them 7 days in a row doing something friendship related, it's going to make it easy for them to just put that back in their life, which is what I want people to be doing.
And it's fun as well. It's not like
exactly.
Yeah.
It's send a meme to your friend. Sending a funny meme to your friend is not some sort of homework, you know. So yeah. So next we're going to be doing a 30-day one, and I think that will really cement for the people who really want to make friendship a priority in their life.
Brilliant.
And not an afterthought. If they do it for 30 days, they will now be in another, they will elevate their friendships. Yeah, they will. They will elevate.
They'll be kings of friendship.
Apex friends, I think.
Apex friends. And then your Audible series, I've already forgotten how you pronounced it, but not the book, the Audible series.
Audible original,
Audible
the buddy
original.
system. You know, that's also been awesome. So we recorded together. It was actually a really funny experience. We went and did it for a week, and I have a raspy voice, a very sensitive voice. So I had to be like, I need days off in between. And I was doing all these lozenges and I was doing all the vocal exercises. And Aaron was hating every second of it. I was like, la 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 la.
That's amazing. Well, you're like, and I want my own trailer. I need hot water.
Yeah. All of it.
Hot. Was that not?
But it was really fun.
And did you ever
say it's really fun to record it?
Did you ever think something like that would happen? Like it's a crazy journey that you've been on, and then you start the podcast. I know you do Man of the Year, and then this happens, and going to inspire even more people. Yeah,
I don't want to say no because I'm one of those guys that Cairo calls me the velvet bulldozer. It's like I always have these big ideas, and like I'm just always like I'm going to make them happen no matter what. And so everything I do, it's like I have these like giant ambitions to do it to the best of my abilities. And you know, to me, and it's also like, oh, I've pivoted so many times too, because I think, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, didn't you want to do stand up or didn't you just want to do this? It's like, yes, but I think you have to free yourself from the version of you 5 years ago that you said you wanted to do, or a year ago even. Any day you can wake up and say, I want to do this new thing, or, you know, you can have this epiphany that, oh, you know, I learned a lot about this thing. I want to share that with the world. So right now I'm really enjoying getting the world to focus on friendship. Like I won't be satisfied until everybody in the world feels that they have healthy friendships.
I love that. And I think that's very important because a lot of people can feel like they're failures if they pivot or move, but also everything you've done has built upon the next thing as well, which is also very important.
I've had so many colossal failures. It's like I could list, I mean, just, you know, every movie I ever do, it's like in some sort of movie hell or collapses, and I still write every day.
I love that. And then last thing on that, you do friendship productions. Can you tell me about that? That was very exciting to see.
Yeah, so this is my brother and I. We decided to build a 360 true media company around connecting people. And so that's like typical Hollywood, movies, TV, whatever, all that, you know, content. But also we're going to be doing live events, you know, just ways to get people IRL meeting up. I have a bunch of products that I'm tinkering with to try to get people to connect more. So it's this real fully holistic company that's sole mission is to connect people in this increasingly isolated world, which is amazing, right? We have so many ways to connect with all the technology that we have, and we feel more isolated than ever. So it's really about curing this loneliness epidemic.
Brilliant. That's such a great idea. And I also read that it was an IP first, a creative studio. There's not many like that.
Yeah, and I do. I want to, like if I hear a cool story about friendship, or, like I keep hearing now, I'm getting all these incoming stories. Like if I hear a cool story, or if I see an article, or if I, see something on Twitter, like I don't know. You remember I saw these guys in their 70s. They come up with a list every week of things to talk about in a bar. These like 75-year-old men. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like seeing fun stories and going, okay, maybe that's a movie or something. You know what I mean? Like, I want to like anything that I see that's friendship related and I think is interesting. I want to talk to those people and go, okay, can we turn this into something we can share with the world?
Oh, cool. And do you want people to contact you if they got ideas or they can figure it out?
Absolutely. I mean, my email is matt@thefriendshipguy.com. It's simple, but yes, look, we're going to be building a big pipeline of content in 2026 around friendship. So
Cool.
I've got a bunch of movies and TV in the works already. But really, it's just fun for me that like it just like every week I write this newsletter, or every week we pod, and it's just like, oh, we're thinking about new ideas in the friendship space to help unlock things for people, and I never run out of new questions from people about like issues that they're having in friendship.
That's so great. I love your mission. We're going to do a very quick rapid fire segment to wrap up the podcast.
Oh, hit me with it. Hit me with it, baby.
Do you have a philosophy on life you follow?
You can just do things.
What brings
That's
the
my life philosophy.
I'm not going to comment on them, otherwise I'll derail them. What brings the best creative content out of you?
Joy.
What would you do if you knew you could not fail?
Exactly what I'm doing right now.
Next big dream or goal? And we may have.
Getting better at basketball and tennis.
Any advice you want to give to people who want to try something different or new, but perhaps fearful of doing so?
Failure is a stepping stone to success.
We spoke about this before. Sometimes once you leave school and college and work and all that stuff, it's hard to make friends. Any tips on making new friends?
Yes. Be the friend. Be somebody that lights up a room when you walk into it. Be the light that people are drawn to, and be curious and give people a chance.
Great advice. I know I say I wouldn't comment. Ed, what did you learn about cancel culture, can't even say it, from your doco tasteless jokes?
That everybody gets another chance if you live long enough.
Last question before I ask how people can follow and keep up to date with you. What is the one question I should have asked you?
What is my go-to dish? Because I'm a great cook.
And what's that?
Chicken parm. My wife and I are having another couple over tonight. She makes a mean Caesar. I make a chicken parm. We're legends.
Beautiful, beautiful combo. You want to share the recipe? We will add it the
No,
family secret.
no way. Also, what are my sons' names? Brenner and Julian. Beautiful boys.
Beautiful. And before we go, how can people follow you and keep up to date with you?
Yeah, on my Instagram, Matt Ritter1, and my newsletter is called The Friendship Habit. I really, really, really cannot emphasize enough how much value you'll get in your life by getting this one email from me a week. But first, you got to do the challenge.
Love it. That's all in the episode notes below. Thank you. Very inspiring, uplifting, and empowering guy. And yeah, I really appreciate it.
Michael, I had a fantastic time, and man, I can't wait to go home and tell my wife how much I revealed about how many failures we've had. She's going to have a good laugh about the cockfighting ring thing.
I love how Matt highlights the importance of friendship and how it directly impacts our wellness. The beauty of friendship is often something we neglect or take for granted. As Matt says, we're so concerned with trying to hack life that we spend all this time and money on the latest fads, many of which can be helpful. However, we can lose sight of what we already have, our friendships and human connection. In many ways, this is the simplest and most powerful life hack, and it's something we can all access with ease. So I'll leave you with this epic quote. In the midst of chaos, laughter and friendship are the best. Artist Reverman.
Thank you for listening to the Funny and Failure podcast, exploring the deeper side of comedy.